All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'll call this meeting of the Middletown Spring Select Board to order at 7 o'clock, May 14th, 2026. Board members present: Carl Haynes, Chris Fenton, Terry Redfield, Robin Chestnut Tangerman, and on Zoom we have Isaac Yackel. I did that first.
Did you mention Carl?
Yes. Terry got him. Members of the other town officers: Jenny Maniac, town treasurer; Debbie Kenyon, town clerk; Meredith Morgan, auditor. Members of the public: Eileen and Peter Stevenson, although Peter's here also for the library. And
Andrew Nate.
yes, town moderator. Member of public, yes. Totally blanking on your last name, Jerry. Bornay, yes, thank you. I should know that. Pat Hemingway, as a lister.
Well, unless you have a 911 question, which I do, and maybe the select board can clarify, I'm also here with the Historical Society.
Okay. Robert McMahon and David Wright for Historical Society, and Maureen also for Historical Society. McCormick, yes, thank you. And Isaac is the only one online.
We have Pam J just entered as well.
I am the Middletown Springs Historical Society also.
Pam
Okay.
Lawson.
You're Pam. Thanks, Isaac. Our additions to the agenda. Have a quick update on office plantings. Library update. Well, I think we'll move up the library update.
Quick update on Thank Patty, permit for Memorial Day, and change the document a little bit that we sent in, so another one to sign.
Okay.
And also just discussion when we get to it probably is Hubbard Brothers billing stuff.
Okay.
And we should put personnel in the executive section. If we need to.
Executive session for personnel issues. Okay. Did everyone, board members, get a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting? Any changes, corrections? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve them.
So move. I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 I will abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. Is there, public comment we can do? Jump to plantings.
Okay,
Here.
do this fast. I'm gonna hand out a paper to all of the select board members, and Jenny, I think Jenny already knows the bottom line. It's just what we spent, totally $1,604. We had donations of $1,254, so the bottom line to the town is $349. And the rest of it, the important part to the select board members is anything that's emboldened. So the three amounts in this paragraph, which is just asking that ongoing that you put in your budget for just some extra top off mulch and fertilizer. We hope to have volunteers continue on the watering, pruning, etc. Seasonally we'll put out for it. And the other paragraphs are just an explanation of what we did, what we couldn't do, and then just to note that there are other volunteers, some of the same group, some others who give a lot of their time to do the 2 corner gardens, and there's a plan afoot to put some annuals out around the building. So that's all. That's a complete update, and you can just do that. That's basically what discuss
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
it. Does anybody else
I
need?
mean, for everybody that did all the work out there and all these donations, it's wonderful.
Really impressive list of donations. Thank you. And Peter, waiting for Crystal to arrive at the library.
She told me she was supposed to be, just gonna be here, so.
So why don't we start with town officer reports? And town clerk is first on the list.
I was hoping I would be able to wait, but that's fine, it's mine. The issue I have, I sent everyone,
I'm sorry, I'm just wondering if we should go ahead and do the historical society.
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with waiting, I am fine with waiting, because,
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna take a little while, and it's a
Yeah.
big discussion, it could turn into a discussion.
So, yes, welcome to the historical society.
Thank you. David Wright, we're here for an update on what's going on with the new town garage, especially given that in a conversation with Robin that I had over the email, must be a month or more ago, he mentioned that the letter of map amendment that the town seeks to clarify where they can build the facilities down there in relation to the floodplain is sitting in limbo now. Is that what I got from you? And what is there anything new on that, and what are the thoughts of it? And is there anything we can do, citizens can do to help push that along?
And Isaac, do you have an update?
Yeah, so the last correspondence that I had with our engineer, Frank Perrin over at Long Trail Engineering, basically FEMA reached back out to us or to the engineer asking or telling him that they were adjusting our map adjustment a little bit, but then it would be okay. I haven't heard anything in the last week, but that means that they are working on it. It's currently being assessed at FEMA. So I know it's been about 6 months, it seems, since it was submitted, but it seems like it's moving along, and I'm keeping in touch with Frank to make sure that he's keeping in touch with FEMA and moving it along. He's confident that it will be accepted. It's just when they get to it, basically. We've gone ahead and had perk tests or test pits done, so we know that we can do a septic system there. So that's all moving ahead. We're ready for when we do get that back, basically, to go ahead and start making plans for a building and septic and all the stuff you need for a garage.
Can I ask also what other facility besides a town garage are you currently planning to put in down there? Does it include a transfer station at this time, or is that something for the future?
Not at this time.
Yeah.
There have been a number of plans.
Mm-hmm.
Some have included a transfer station, some have not. The feedback we've gotten from town residents is that they really value having a transfer station in the middle of town, which makes sense.
It's the only town in Vermont with a transfer station dump in the middle of town.
I don't know, Timmins is pretty close to the center.
I can't believe people really want it.
No, the priority is the town garage building.
Then what about the salt and sand?
Salt and sand is secondary.
But that's in the works.
That is in the works.
Pardon?
That is in the works
Oh.
of putting a structure, a pole barn up here,
Up here.
over the existing pile where it is. We're talking to Michael Beatty about drawing it up.
Okay, yeah.
He's been gone for 2 of the last 3 weeks. to go forward with that. What we have discussed is a 40 by 100 structure where the existing pile is now. Because the if you want to call them structure, what we call the salt building and the shed on the side of it that the state put on back when the state had their sand and salt here back in the, I want to say, early 80s. That will all come down. It doesn't fall down first. So that's coming down. So we're going forward with that, planning on this summer before winter up there. So
But
that's going to put the
Is that
salt.
ultimately gonna go down to West Street or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Does it make, I don't know anything about the logic of it, but you're gonna have the town trucks down there in the town garage, and then they have to come up here to get the salt and sand?
But logistically, having it here centralized makes
Central,
more
yeah.
sense to have it
Yeah.
here than, so then going down there to maintain the amount of roads that are more than 3/4 of the roads are up here.
Yeah.
So you'd be running back and forth that extra, pushing through 2.5 miles about to that structure from those four corners to service all the roads here.
Mhm.
So looking at it, we decided to go forward here, and the salt and sand was an issue down there along with, because of the proximity to the river and getting it permitted to put something down there.
Yeah.
That been discussed in the past, so.
And part of the rationale of this is, or part of the thinking is that in a pinch, if we're not making fast enough progress down there, the salt and sand shed can serve as an temporary shelter for equipment.
And the other
So
thing
we can
that
be out by.
Yeah.
we have
December 31st.
done is not going forward with selling the present library. So we could have a facility owned by the town that the highway department could use for the rest of the winter until that structure is built, even if we have to plug trucks in down there to make it compatible for the winter. It's right here on West Street. So, we didn't go forward with this, looking into the sale of the old library yet. Until we are situated with a garage down on West Street, if that's where it ends up going, you know.
So that is your plan is to sell the old library? Or is that?
It has been suggested.
Looking at all options.
I had somebody ask me if they they would like it for their home.
Um,
It would be a cool house.
It would.
It would.
Is the FEMA thing a set thing if it passes, or is there a contingency plan?
For that area, we really need this
To pass?
to pass. And it sounds like it will pass, but with some variation from what we proposed.
Since the purchase of the property, the floodplain got moved by FEMA. So that included the house, and it also included Parker Waterwell's garage.
Right, because that's level with it.
So that goes, when they got on a computer, and I don't know if it's in Maryland, DC, wherever, and draw this elevation line. So we had originally got a NOMA and removed the house site out of the floodplain. And I know that Parker Waterwells got a NOMA and got their garage moved out of the floodplain. But this is an area between the back of the house and down to where the large dumpster day is, where that flat is there, is the area that we're working on. It makes a big difference on the type of structure, at one time the discussion was building your garage basically on pillars so the water could flow underneath it down there. Well, yeah, they make bridges every day, water flows under, but for us to build a garage to store the town trucks on, it's cost prohibitive. So if we have that piece of paper, you're still along the river, anything can happen, but all them factors would need to be looked at the time, but we have viewed other properties in town in the last 2 years that have come about. We've had some suggestions, and the feeling now is to continue to look at the West Street property that the town owns. So.
Yeah, we're confident we can do something down there. That still is our plan to do something down there. This, if we get the map adjustment, whatever, we're hoping that we'll get more usable land space down there with less restrictions.
And this is, in relative terms, this is moving at warp speed.
Yes, compared to what it was happening last year.
Compared to this building, which,
Right.
17 years or something like that. Yes.
Just to add to that, Jerry, is that when 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we got a grant to study the actual river elevations, and an engineer came in and there's a report, and that is why we can go to FEMA and ask for this larger space, because it's been documented by the engineer who went and did all the elevations of the river from wherever they have to do them from, and saying that this is what your floodplain says, but this is reality of what a floodplain would be, given the river corridor and all of that there. So we did have a study done that is supporting this.
And one of the big factors is the bridge. If the bridge gets blocked up, where is the water going to go? How far will it back up this way before it spills around? It will spill around Spring Drive and that way across the road, elevation wise. But they look at all those things, and that's the flooding area they're looking at, where the normal stream of that water would go and how far it would back up. But the two houses previously that at one time was in the floodplain got taken out in this last mapping. The contour of the river there and the elevation when they did this, those two houses came out of the floodplain.
Wow.
So to look at it logistically, it doesn't make sense, because the old house of ours, elevation wise, sits a little higher than the other two.
Yeah, it does.
But the other part is, before it was anything that you put in, you had to take out, discussing the stream, the alteration, the whole 9 yards. So if it was still in the floodplain, if you filled it, you had to account for the flow of the water and all that. That was issues that had came up in the past. Not being able to fill everything to put a flat building in there. So.
Thank you.
I have a question. If I'm not sure I heard Carl properly. Are you talking about putting town trucks on the historic St. Margaret's Church property part of the time, or in an interim, or?
If we need to, December 31st, we have to vacate the existing garage.
Correct.
So we have to, if we have to plug them in somewhere and we don't have adequate plugins or inside storage by that time.
But not a building, just
No.
an outside.
Yeah.
In the parking lot. Yes.
So I have a question with regard to the salt shed that you're planning on doing where the sand pile is. What are the permits that you're gonna need for that?
Won't know until we get the drawing to take to the state to ask.
And we're not, it's maybe more information than looking for, but we are not looking for state funding at this point. Because the state funding is tied to state designs, which are extremely expensive.
Right.
So we are looking for a homemade building.
Yeah, I guess the question I have with regard to the pole barn is that you're putting up a new structure. And I don't know if there's gonna be some kind of containment requirements with the salt, sand mix in there imposed by the state in that structure because you're building new.
What we're talking is pouring a solid wall to the north side where the blocks are now.
Yeah.
And using poles to the south side with the cement block interior of the pole shed.
With a cement block?
The 2x2x6s.
Oh, okay, is that?
For the inside, the stackable blocks.
Yeah.
When I talked to Carreras, they told me Timoth had put one up already, so I drove over there to see what their building looked like of the new blocks, and that has not happened. Seemed like the price that they got dealing with the state for that building, for just the cement block structure, was more than Timoth wanted to take on. But there's some price difference on that. Carreras told me $90 a block in North Clarendon. Somebody's bought some out of Glens Falls for $45 a block. So I find out there's a lot of difference, but trucking's a factor.
Can I ask
Yes.
one more question? Has the select board and any of the engineers, anybody that's working on this, given thought to consolidating the town garage and possibly the salt shed on the site here in the middle of town? There's a lot of land there. And then putting the transfer station down on the Buxton property.
With the configuration of the fire department now, there really isn't much land.
I know what the lines are, but there's a lot of land over toward the river where the transfer station is. So if you put a separate, maybe 3-bay garage, it probably would tuck in and not interfere with the trucks coming out of the firehouse if they don't extend that building.
Yeah, I'm,
Has an architect or anyone actually looked at that site and tried to draw in what maybe you're looking for before?
So Michael Beatty will be doing the site plan for us. I mean, my understanding was that the area behind the firehouse has the firehouse septic there.
Yes.
And so it's, what's available is limited.
But my question there is, could a different septic or pump station, whatever, be combined with a new, well, could the town garage share a bathroom and maybe a wash station and kitchen? They need a kitchen, but definitely a bathroom and a wash station for the trucks with the firehouse and change the location of the septic or put in a pump station. I don't know if it's viable, but I wonder if it's been looked at.
So I remember, this is back in the early 2000s, there was an engineer who came through when they were giving here's what your facility plan should be, and here's where things can go, and here's where they can't go. And I recall that report saying it was not a good idea to put the garage.
There was a
next to the
proposal to
firehouse.
put this building there where the salt and sand pile is. And I'd love to see that, to dig that out and see it again, but so, well, we have not actively discussed that, but this will give us some additional information.
Well, if there was room for a town office there may be room for a garage. Whether there's room for three new facilities, salt shed,
Right.
town garage and transfer station, probably not. But
The
maybe-
proposal for the town office was where the sand pile is.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a thought, throwing it out so you can cover all the bases.
Thank you. Anything more from the Historical Society? Okay. Well, thank you for coming and, you know, let us know as questions arise, but we are planning on being out by the agreed upon date.
That's great. That's what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
That's it.
shall we jump to the library now?
I think it'd be a long one.
Sure.
Russell and Peter?
Sure, we can definitely do that. So I would say Nail and Green are back on site as of I think last week they started back. And so we're working towards getting finished up. The trees came out today or some other days that went by, maybe I didn't been out, but so that was exciting. Looks different down there. We are working, Peter's gonna talk us through sort of what's up and a big sort of update on the paving plan. So that is the big thing. We launched our what we're calling our Bridge to Tomorrow campaign, which is our sort of fundraising. The beginning of April and mid of April. And so far we've got just over $60,000 pledged or received. So that's exciting. And so we're going to continue to get those letters out there and hope that more donations continue to come in. So that those are the highlights, but Peter can talk us through the construction related things.
So just to add to what Crystal said, the lower level of the building, the finished flooring's been installed in the kitchen and the bathrooms. The floors have been patched and level where we had to put new piping in and structural columns. The painters have moved in there. There's 6 of them in there now. There were 4 yesterday, but they're in there in full force, and I would expect, and all the finished carpentry, with the exception of bookshelves, have been installed on the lower level. So I would expect the painters will probably be finished down there Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and then people are coming in to put some adhering loop, and then the rest of the finished flooring will be going in. The acoustical tile will be going in next week in the ceilings. We've water kitchen appliances and kitchen cabinets are due on site in a couple of weeks. So downstairs is moving along nicely. The main floor, all the carpenters, which are 6, have moved from the lower level up on the main floor, and they're starting to do trim work in earnest. And then they'll be followed by the painters up there. And so that's moving along nicely. We've got some change orders that are going to be upcoming. The steeple. We've also decided to go and switch to propane from electric heat, but we have the heat pumps, and the big charge there will be the electric booster fans that will be needed to keep the building up at temperature in cold weather, and they do up a lot of kilowatts. So upon the recommendation, a couple of people, including the mechanical contractor, we're putting 2 small propane boilers in, and we will have control so that we can use both the heat pumps for electric heat as a primary source. We can use it in combination with the propane boilers, or we can rely on propane boilers to be the primary source of heat. So that can all be controlled by, thermostats. As Crystal said, we took a look at, when we signed the contract as part of the value engineering to get down to what we could afford, we took the paving out of the contract and decided if there was money left, we could, do paving at a later date. So the number that we had last July was $22,000 for paving. We just got a paving price, and the paving itself is jumped to $32,000. That's primarily because of what's happening in the world. So and there was also an additional $4,800 worth of site work that would have been needed to make that happen. And in addition to that, at an earlier meeting, I talked to you about putting a retaining wall in. So we had a meeting on site the other day with Ron Fabian, and he looked things over. And we've got a lot of complicated things here that we have to address. So we've got the 17 spaces that were made up the existing parking lot, and those are right along Pleasant View Road. We also have a sidewalk going in that's running parallel to that, which will give access from the rear of that parking up into the front of the building. It will also go into the new lower level entrance. And then, of course, we've got the new handicap ramp up on the north side of the building and the main entrance. So there are a lot of different grades that we have to work with there. And in addition to that, there's a requirement in parking lots that you can't have more than a certain slope per parking space. So we're fighting conditions there. So let me hand these out to you. I'm sorry I couldn't get bigger drawings, but thank you here.
Elevations are a pain.
Huh?
Elevations are a pain.
Yeah. So if you take a look at this, this is a shot looking down, and this is the.
Just reading.
Yeah.
His eyes weren't good enough.
Pardon?
I couldn't read this 1.5 point type.
You know, well, that's what I'm sorry.
Bigger, way
Didn't
far
have
back.
bigger drawings, but basically, I think that says that the existing parking lot in the back is gonna be grassed over.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at this drawing, you can see the circular driveway in the front of on the north side of the building. Then you see the 17 parking spaces along Pleasant View Road. So there's here I got one here, so I can look. So there's sidewalk coming in off that circular driveway, and then there's sidewalk going down to the sidewalk that runs parallel to the parking spaces. So between the beginning of the sidewalk that runs and where the sidewalk comes down from the handicap ramp to the end of the proposed parking spaces, there's a 2-foot drop.
24 inches.
Yeah. And that's with and it's actually a little bit more, a hair more than that. So in taking a look at this, and the sidewalk's also gonna go into a handicap slope so that we don't have to put railings alongside it. So what we like to do is basically the 2 parking spaces that are toward Route 140 and right at the edge of the stone entrance is eliminate those and then tack those onto the other end of the parking space. We would also, the parking spaces would not be marked out because in lieu of paving, Ron Fabian came back to us, and we can get recycled paving put in 3 inches thick to put in those parking spaces for $1,500. And they did the similar thing at St. Bridget Church in West Rutland, and that's been in there for 8 years, and it's been heavily plowed and heavily used, and it stood up very well. And down the line, if money becomes available and you want to switch to paving, it can be cold planed, and then paving can be put on top of it. So it's going to get so it will get all of the regular base, which is what you're shown on the little section up on the top of the drawing. And then we do recycle paving. The other thing that this requires, and this is why I'm here, is we also we would like to make all of this work, change the grade on Pleasant View Road, starting at the stone entrance, and then feathering down to the driveway that goes into the adjacent property to the west. And then we can blend all of that in and make the whole thing work. And in addition to these problems, we've also got to regrade from the building out toward the parking area and get a swale in there to pull water away from the building, which had been coming in and caused some of the problems that we faced in the demolition. So that's why I'm here, to get permission to change the elevation.
So you're eliminating these two, right?
So then you can be ADA compliant on this.
Yeah, it can be ADA compliant, we can let everything in. But it will require some, and the part that we would do on Pleasant View Road, we'll do that with recycled paving too, which I think is already on there, which I think Bill did a number of years ago.
Yeah, so we thought Chris did several years ago, yeah.
So the change in slope goes back to the Hinterberg Kelly driveway.
Right. It may go here beyond, because as we do this, we're gonna be shooting grades and we gotta put strings up and everything else to make all of this work.
But it wouldn't substantially affect it wouldn't affect their access.
No.
Is that driveway, they still using that driveway? That circular driveway?
Hinterberg?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they are. I don't know, they're doing stuff there, but they haven't been there recently, I don't think, so I don't know what's going on.
They still room.
So I don't know if you have any questions or.
Is there going to be a sidewalk to the west entrance to the upstairs to the steps? Here?
Yeah, there's a sidewalk that's gonna come in here, and then what you're used to as the entrance has been extended with concrete walls and a new roof put in.
Down
So
there.
that goes into that, and that meets a handicap access.
Yeah, but here for the stairway that's existing,
Yeah,
are we going to have a sidewalk to that?
yeah. Because the other part of that too is that we gotta basically create a swale down through here between the parking lot and the building to get the water sucked away from the building that's coming off the roof. And there wasn't one ever there, and it's not a code requirement.
Peter, the semicircular drive in front, that's just intended as a drop-off area, right?
Yeah, and I think that would also go initially into recycled paving, but I'm got a call into Will Paving, who was the one that they want to bring the price for the paving.
Mm-hmm.
Because I worked with them a number of times, and so if I'm trying to get a price on what that would be to pave rather than use recycling paving, because that's kind of the main handicap entrance, and I think it'd be a lot smoother for somebody in a wheelchair or has problems getting into the building to pull off regular paving and recycle paving.
Yeah, but my question is, there are no parking spaces there. It's just
no, they'll there'll be signs up that it's handicap.
And for the slope adjustment is, I mean, change order costs attached to that, or is it just kind of
No,
related to
the only,
landscaping?
the only change order attached is gonna be the recycled paving for 1,500.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was gonna be $4,800 plus.
Are they gonna roll that or tamp it or
I
something?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they did at St.
Yeah.
Richard's.
That would.
I think they just did that at the former World's Trading Post a week or two ago. They dug up all the paving in that parking lot, and it looks like they put down recycled paving or something. Looks like it's rolled out. I don't know if anybody goes by there on a regular basis, but it's a nice driveway.
Well, it's a lot better than gravel, which we figured we were gonna have initially, and it'll cut down on the wear and tear of tracking into the building.
Exactly.
Right.
So in terms of what you need from us, is this a motion or by consensus agreed? It seems like it.
They just want approval.
We came because we were looking for permission rather than forgiveness.
I thought it was easier.
Really small.
Yeah, let us rewind that tape a little bit.
How, moving those two parking places to the other end,
So the other thing too is because we're not gonna have marked lines in there. We're gonna get, if we go ahead and do this and put the recycled paving in, we're gonna get curb, the 8-foot concrete precast curbs and put those in. So those will kind of mark out the spaces and.
Thank you, Robin.
We also
The video just cut out.
reduce each space by a foot. So instead of 10-foot spaces, we're going to 9 feet, which is perfectly acceptable.
Perfect.
And so this whole total before was 170 feet, and now it's going to be 153 feet, by going to 9 feet. And so,
from the stone wall
pardon?
from the stone wall or your parking area?
No, the parking area. So basically 2.5 spaces are moving down here. So you know where the job trailer is, and the neck of that comes out. Well, if you go from that 153 feet, it'll end up in here, like 2.5 spaces away from the wall.
So the spaces will tie in, start just after
Yeah,
this walkway.
right. Well,
Basically,
no, I think what will happen now, I think, is the walkway will come across, and we may have to put a 45-degree angle over the plate to make all of this work.
elevation, yeah.
Yeah,
You got 24 feet to go,
so.
or better.
I think I'm sure that there's enough elevation there. The swale that runs, that all the water comes through on West Street, that was opened up, the culvert that runs from the back of the church all the way to the other side of West Street to Marcy Lane. There's a culvert that runs the whole length there. That the swale runs around the back of the church here.
Yeah, it runs around.
Around
It runs right along the back of the
And
property.
I was trying to figure out in proximity to the end of the parking area to where that culvert crosses Cemetery Road here.
Well, I didn't measure the distance, but the other thing that we had to consider is there's a power pole right down in there, right by the trailer, and so there's probably I didn't measure, but there's probably 20 feet from the power pole to where the parking lot,
It's gonna
post
start.
parking lot change would end.
And the, I know the swale in the back was, we're talking about a swale on the west side of the building.
And there's also gonna be one on the east side too, but we're gonna feed that toward the ditch that Carl was talking about.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of drop there to do that. The one that we're proposing on the west side of the building, probably gonna be pretty gradual and it will drain out over the grass area that's gonna be in the back. Where parking lot used to be.
Okay, so not.
No,
It'll be
it's not gonna
confused
go,
enough.
it's not gonna go all the way down to the ditch.
And the walkway from the sidewalk to the handicap entrance,
Yes,
how's the water get under, over, through that?
it may, we'll have to determine, I can't tell you that, we may have to put a pipe underneath the sidewalk to let it go through, and that's what
Yeah.
the grades are.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't got contours on the site plan originally, as you can see on this, work with, so, but we'll be relief there.
Well, this all sounds good to me.
And the other thing is in the new handicap, the new entrance, there's an extension from the old entrance.
Yeah.
And that's gonna have a drain inside the building, which will tie back into the foundation drains. And I can tell you when they dug the last part of it, which is the south end of the building, they had to have a sump pump there to pump the water out. There was so much of it. And then when they got it tied in and outletted in the ditch in the back, it was running basically at full pipe for about a week, for about 2 weeks.
Isaac, any comments, questions?
My only question is, I guess I don't know what that recycled paving material looks like. It gets compacted and kind of turns into a sort of pavement, or stays gravel like?
Pretty much looks like.
Yeah, it's the stuff that have you seen the piles of stuff up on various places where they cold plane the roads? You know, it chews it up and it's cold, obviously. And when it's put down, I believe it's put down cold, and then they roll it and then the tar and stuff inside within the paving itself helps bind it together.
Yeah, if it's that much of a savings, it seems like a great alternative.
It's a base too.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like by consensus,
The
board has.
question that we have is how far it goes down the road and how we're going to transition that rest of it out to the cemetery.
If it could go at least to the culvert
Well,
there.
By the time you get down to, that'd be nice. You go to 153 feet. I mean, we're not, the last few parking spots in there are probably the last 10 or so. It's pretty flat in there anyway. So, I mean, the grade, I think, will pretty much stay as it is in the road, just beyond Hindenburger's driveway and beyond. So I don't think you're going to have to do anything in there.
Not change the pitch any, you mean, but it will get the pavement, the recycled pavement?
Yeah, I mean, there's some there. Well, it's probably, I would think sock cut along the town road. And then put the recycled pavement up to it, so it's a clean edge and there's not a lot of half-inch thick or 1 inch thick material that's gonna get knocked off of the plow.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you've got any other questions regarding the rest of the project, but.
Oh, we'll track you down.
You know where you live.
You know where I live.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meredith, you're here for the meeting recap.
Yeah. I attended, attended the Southwest Subregion Situation meeting that was the last week, I think so. Tyler Manning from the fire department was there. And we met with, I can't remember Bill's last name. Bill. Thank you, Bill sat with us. This was sort of a 3-hour exercise involving our 3 subcommittees, which our sub region, which is on the back map of that thing there, which included Pulteney, Wells, and Ira. And we also was led by the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, the Rutland Emergency Management Committee, and Rutland Regional Disaster Cooperative. It actually was kind of similar to what our new group in town, the Community Action Network Response group, which has been meeting now 3 times, covered a lot of a mock sort of situation, and we were posed with different questions for each of the communities to discuss. And because Middletown has been doing these things on our own, we were kind of ahead of the curve, and they were wanting to use us sort of as a model. So part of this was identifying partners, identifying our emergency operations center, getting acquainted with our emergency plan, which Robin is updating, and knowing who our regional contacts were. We discussed a bunch of things like our resources in our community, which might include the new library eventually, the school, our store, this town office, the fire department, and the things like the store and the school in particular, and I guess down the road, the library. There's something I hadn't really thought about. I'm sure some people at this table have thought about in the past. There are agreements that are made with these entities to be made in order to use their perhaps supplies in an emergency situation. And that's something that's in the emergency plan eventually. But it was a really great little workout into seeing how much we have done and how much we need to do. You'll be has Bill been in contact with you?
Only to remind me to sign.
The emergency plan, and
Yeah.
so Patty has posted the emergency plan on the website. There are, I didn't know our business is listed on the plan. There are definitely some things that probably could be updated. And as I say, these agreements are kind of important in terms of the school, accessing, like, let's say their food supply or Crossman's food supply. Communities have these agreements, and those are like, I don't know how set in stone they are. They kept talking about people being sort of acquainted with each other before these emergency situations happen, but I honestly think there is some policy / procedural stuff that ought to be looked into, with regards to that. But again, the Community Action Response Group is meeting on May 20th again at 7 o'clock, which I think is next week. And they are working in this direction also, and have some good news to report. And that's it. Keep it short.
Thank you.
For keeping it short?
No.
But
For attending then.
well, Carl, you were brought up kind of often by Tyler as a resource, but there are a lot of resources in our community, and yeah.
So it seems that there are various components to the paperwork that we have to submit. This is the mutual aid agreement for public works departments of its member municipalities. And there's a list of, I saw it today, of just, it's basically the highway equipment. What do we have there?
Right, I also did see there were some financial pieces, and because of our configuration in our previous emergency plan, there was like $10,000 allowed for road foreman to use in an emergency situation. And I don't know if that becomes something you want to change or augment, or, you know, there's just, there's a lot of little specifics like that in the plan that might come up. But that's sort of my really junior knowledge here.
Okay, yeah, I know all of this is due shortly, June 1st.
Yes.
So.
Well, the mutual aid agreement is basically countywide.
Right.
And that's your emergency management plan itself.
It's already in there.
Rutland Regional Planning Commission is supposed to come to you and bring you what you have and go through and tell you what, help you go through it, prompt you to look at it and change what needs to be changed and adjust what needs to be adjusted. So, and what you have in your hand is just the signature piece.
Yes.
Online is a lot of years full mutually. Isn't that? Anyway.
Good. More documents.
Well, every year it needs to be redone.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just one replaces the other.
Right.
And it wasn't updated on our website because the person who was connected with Rutland Regional Planning Commission and working with them did pull it all together and send it over to the clerk to have even in the office in hard copy or digitally. And so that I'm going to tell you needs to happen.
Because it is your manual for.
And when we started this group, immediately, this is from 2023. Well, I don't have, so I had to go to the Regional Planning Commission has it, but it's not on their website either. So you have to ask for it. And that's how I got those new documents that are now outdated.
So that's
Up on the website a couple weeks ago.
and that's for 2025.
Yeah.
They're 2025.
On the website right now is 2020, it ends in 2026. It went from 2024 to 2026.
Oh, that's a 2-year thing.
The emergency management plan, I think the mutual aid agreement might be 1 year.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure about either one of those things. Somebody had their computer, they could check that.
And for what it's worth,
It tells you on
different communities are all in different phases. Ira is basically planning to go to West Rutland in an emergency. They have very low resources. Pulteney, I mean, they actually tried to invite Granville to come to this subregion because there's a lot of interaction between Wells, Pulteney, and Granville, and potentially us even. But we're sort of, because of our configuration, on our own here. So, but we are supposed to be involving each other, connecting with our surrounding communities, this subregion.
A lot of the communities have different. The advantage that we have is both fire and rescue for Huntley Rescue and Middletown Fire are dispatched out of Washington County. So that we have that network where not all of the rest of the state falls under state dispatch, and they could be getting dispatched out of Rockingham or Williston for any incidents. That part of the problem is the radio communication, for IRA, crossing over. So the fire department has multiple radios now. So if they're dealing with Tidmouth and IRA, they have a radio to communicate with them. If they're dealing with Huntley, Wells, and that, they have a different radio, different frequency to communicate with them vehicle to vehicle. So we are more advanced in that area.
And with this community networking, we're working on this Meshtastic system, which is a text-to-talkie system. So you can text via something that's like a walkie-talkie working with radio waves, and we can set up within our own community a sort of hub and spoke kind of network, so that we could at least talk to the different neighborhoods, and it could all come together, and then we could communicate directly with just have one or two people communicating directly with the fire department. Should we lose all of our, Wi-Fi, electricity, etc.
Our own communications.
Yeah, so that's something that the CARN is putting together, along a whole lot of other things. But that's for them again, that meeting again is May 20th. At 7 o'clock.
So the talk frequency, which I do believe is still called 715 frequency, the highway department has radios and the equipment now that is all functionally, that can communicate with the fire department.
Yeah. So all those things need to be put together so that when the emergency happens, Robin or whoever is in here can say, go to page 5. That's where our answer is, whatever it is. Sunny day planning, blue sky planning, I think they call it. Anyway.
So we got a few more days to worry about that.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
I don't know if you want this, Robin. This was your call.
Yes. I do.
It's a little wrinkly, sorry. It's got rain out.
You pick it an iron. Yeah, thank you, Meredith. So is this the same as the?
This is just what we did that day. That's essentially
okay.
the practice thing that we went through and talked through, and it was very similar to the CARN meetings, because we basically were posing, what if this happened? How would your community deal with it? Honestly, one of the things communities were advised to offer up, what could you give other communities? And Tyler brought up cold water rescue, which is a training thing they just went through this spring, I believe. And
that they haven't, Middletown Fire hasn't instructed for.
Yes,
So
that was the other part.
They've been going around to neighboring communities doing instruction for water rescues.
Anything else for Meredith?
I was just curious, the way that the meeting that you went to, Meredith, was posed, is it's extra or on top of this emergency management plan, right? Like this is another step further. Is that correct?
I think it was an attempt to try to coalesce this sub-region so that it was making sure communities were understanding that they need to reach out to each other as support. It was discussed that FEMA is going to be less and less present as an option, and that we are going to be all as communities trying to tread water by ourselves.
Right. So and I guess does then our emergency management plan, it didn't necessarily impact that specifically, but we might want to be looking at adding things like that into it, or
I think, yeah, you have to look at the actual plan itself, and I believe Bill is supposed to be available to work with probably, I guess it's Robin.
And he has.
He's been reaching out. Yeah, they have a lot of good information. There was actually a person from the state for each of the communities working with our tables, sort of helping to guide what we were talking about in decision making and lists and things like that. So this is not in addition. This is like a part of it, so to speak. Not like in addition. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so.
Okay, anything else? Thank you very much.
Yep.
Jenny, do you have anything before we dive into Patty's?
Mine's gonna be long too, so.
Okay.
So you all got my emails about the 911 addressing situation over in the no man's land of
Yes.
wells, Middletown wells that no one from Middletown should get to. Basically, I've answered my question about the town road. I understand where the town road is now and that it's not their driveway. What I would want, what I see this as being, an issue that we need to think about carefully, because we want whatever we do needs to make sense, right? So we don't want a road that no one knows where it is, because the whole idea is if there's an emergency at these people's house, people need to be able to find them. I feel like with their address being Dayton Hill Road, which doesn't connect to that road at all. It used to be Dayton Hill Road came down there. That is true, but it no longer does connect to that road. So how is an emergency vehicle going to find them at Dayton Hill Road in Middletown Springs? They're going to come to Middletown Springs.
Yeah.
That's not, hopefully, we know they're going to resist changing their address, as anyone would, but hopefully presenting that piece of it to them will help them decide that it's to their best interest to change their address so someone can find them. So I have to talk to the 911 coordinator and find out what our options are. Like, I feel like maybe we name it, maybe we suggest they name it, or we name this driveway that has two houses on it currently, one permanent resident and one seasonal, Sawmill Hill Extension. So it gives emergency services an idea where they need to come from. But I don't know if 911 will let us do that, because usually they don't let you have the same road name in two different towns. So you can't have a Sawmill Hill in Middletown and a Sawmill Hill in Wells, because it confuses 911 people. They don't know where to go. But if they're actually connected, maybe they'll let us do extension or something like that, right? So to me, I want to make sure that someone can find these people out here if something happens.
So the coordinator on 911's side should be able to answer that.
Right, they can answer that question. The other piece, yeah, they have these numbers that they've assigned. We have a different number, and our tax map calls that road Sawmill Hill, believe it or not, even though it's driveway, the tax map calls it Sawmill Hill. So we have a lot of inconsistencies in our own.
So that is a driveway?
it is a driveway, not a road. So the part that is the town, the part that is the town road that Wells takes care of is just
Is
that
that-
little tiny
Okay.
corner. And I was confused by that until I printed out some of this stuff, and then I went, oh, okay, now I see.
Yeah.
So that is a driveway, has two houses on it. So it, in our regulations, it should be named, but it could be off of the Sawmill Hill, and it just could be for whatever the numbers are. The problem is that numbers are supposed to go up in sequence. These numbers come the other way. So 402 is before 4,000. 4002
On the driveway.
on the driveway.
Right.
And so that to me is an issue. I believe they did that because they're thinking coming from Middletown.
Both even numbers and the houses are on.
That's right, and that is because the driveway comes off on the even side. It's all very, very complex, and it makes your head spin.
Where is Walt's new structure that the
It's
town,
not new, and that's all been done. This is, Walt caused the whole problem. This is all set. He's on Sawmill Hill, and he's got his number. Then they saw that these numbers on this other road didn't make any sense. One of the people has their address as Sawmill Hill Road in our files. The other one is Dayton Hill Road.
But that was given out by the post office.
No. Their post office is connected, but no. The
No.
post office, the town gives out 911. But the town did not, if you look at this map here, the town did not give out that 4,000 number.
No,
911
right,
assigned that somewhere, somehow.
talking the 541 date,
That was assigned by the town clerk
right.
in Middletown.
Okay, town clerk, okay.
Does it to town, or, that comes to the select board. I didn't find any of the paperwork, like the letter that went out when that all happened, but that is why this whole thing came about. And he's like, well, there's a 541 here. What does that mean? I'm like, well, that's what the people's address is. What?
I thought there had to be 3 properties on a road before they got 911.
Before you have to call it a road and name it. Our policy is 2, but I've sort of been ignoring that.
There are 3 properties on there, aren't there?
Not really.
residents.
Not on that driveway.
Resident,
Not on that driveway. Not on that driveway.
Okay.
There was a camp there, but.
But anyway,
What I seen on the map there and the history, I do believe that the town assigned the 549
yes,
number here because they were the resident in the town of Middletown.
right.
In the remapping of Middletown is when this area became, that corner became Middletown of the road down there. And we went down and met with them over maintaining the road and the one culvert that was the issue there. And west, when the legislature approved the remapping of Middletown, that actually, so if that 4002 address was assigned by Wells previous to the town line moving.
Those people didn't own it then.
No, but the property could have been assigned.
No, it was sold. I think it was sold after that. But maybe not the 4002, but definitely the 4,000 was sold after that from the west.
So I know what I think I remember is that's why they had it, the 500 number is a Middletown one. And then when the town got re-surveyed and a portion of the Sawmill Hill became Middletown's road, that would also move them other residents into Middletown at that time. And they would have previously had a Wells address back when I delivered mail down there.
Well, they do still
Yeah,
get their mail. This guy still gets his mail from
Well,
Wells, but he didn't move there or buy that property or build that house until 2006. Because I have his deed right here.
Yeah.
So that was bad. But the problem is it was named Dayton Hill Road, which is totally confusing. Dayton Hill Road comes off Endless Brook
Yeah,
over to Middletown. So you're never gonna
I-
get there by Dayton Hill to come, you
right.
never.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like what is,
So-
other than their address is incorrect, but why can't we just then call it Sawmill Hill Road and that's the answer, right?
Because it also has to be their mailing address and their delivery address and.
Which if they're already getting mail, can we just use whatever address their post
No,
office is
that's
using?
the problem, you cannot, so these are all the rules. What I came here for is this, not necessarily, we can't solve this as a group. I want to have someone from the select board work with me. And hopefully the listers, we can go through the file and see what the history of all of this stuff is, so that we can talk to the people at 911, assign a number that makes sense, and if one of those people breaks off, divides their property, there will be, they will already have all of those things put in place, so no one has to change your address again. Right? So I just want somebody to work with me. It's not gonna be a quick solution. It's not gonna be, the homeowner's gonna balk at it, but I wanna figure out the history, also the path to go forward that makes the most sense, so that then when we approach the homeowner, it makes the most sense, and they will hopefully begrudgingly agree that they want 911 to find them if they need them.
So isn't the town policy, I'm thinking of K Lane, where the Clays live, off Spruce Knob, that the town assigned K because the Clays and the other landowner there didn't come up with a name, so the town said we have to call it something, and we're running through the letters of the alphabet. It's K Lane, and they have the option to change the name if they want to, Firefly Lane or whatever. But the town, in that case, issued a name.
Right, what our
Yeah.
policy has been is we allow the people on the road to create their own name. If they can agree to a name and it's not, and 911 says it's a fine name, that's how it's been recently. Whatever it was in the past, can't say. So that's part of that discussion and what we would come up with, but I think that in talking with 911, I just feel like, because it's already confusing, because you're going to a house that says it's in Middletown Springs, but the only way you can get there is through Wells. That you want to name it something that makes you want to go to Wells.
Yeah.
So I feel like that we may want to have a strong suggestion of what the name can be, as long as that name has been approved by 911, right? So that those people get served in the way, in the way that this whole system's designed to do, and not get lost, because I can't see how anyone calling 911 from 541 Dayton Hill Road is actually gonna get anybody to actually find
Yeah,
them.
God forbid you send the rescue squad there.
Especially the 911 map has them listed as 4,000 Sawmill Hill Road, and they don't even know that.
And wind up with engineers.
Yeah,
They're
I'd be
stuck
willing
out
to
there.
help Patty. I'd be willing to help Patty with that.
Great.
so that's my dilemma. It's not gonna be.
Thank you, Chris.
Not gonna be an easy one, but we'll try to figure it out and make some kind of sense of it.
Well, at least if they got a 911 or a Google Maps, once it's established with a 911 number, you should be able to take you to that. Okay.
The people don't like changing their address because
Right.
all their
Understandably.
deliveries, every place they get something, their address changes. I can tell you when we made Tornado Drive, for 6 or 8 months, I would get emails from them saying, UPS won't even take my order. I mean, this place won't even take my order because UPS says there is no such place and they can't deliver it there. And my insurance company wants you to write a letter and tell them that I haven't actually moved, you changed my address. Stuff like that. So those are the
License.
things that come up from
Your
this.
driver's license?
Your driver's license, everything, every single thing.
Everything.
Passport.
Yeah.
Electric bill, telephone bill,
Yeah.
taxes, everything. And so it's not an easy.
And
It's not easy.
it's a problem enough already that it's the town of Middletown with a Wells mailing address.
Right.
You know, and a physical address of Middletown Springs. But their mailing address is Wells,
Yes.
you know,
Royal pain in the ass, yeah.
like all the mail I delivered out of Hampton that went all the way down into Granville, Foxstoddard, New Boston, and all the way down into South Poultney. Are they Granville residents or are they Hampton residents? Because their mailing address is Hampton. And if they didn't use Hampton when they ordered something, they didn't get it because their systems is tied to the post office. And it's tied to the 911.
Yes, but then we have to figure that piece out because it's supposed to be so they would be Wells, but their legal address is still Middletown Springs. Anyway, thank you, Chris, because it's gonna be fun.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Patty. That's a.
Anything else, Patty? Town clerk?
What are you doing?
At least it's not one season.
So bad.
Last time.
Resolved. Work on it, of course.
Hey Patty, before you leave, maybe you could fix the video again.
Being solved tonight.
Yeah, I meant to time it.
No, tell me what.
Okay, Jenny,
Okay.
you're up.
So, couple of follow-ups
Thank you.
from my last discussion. I received the check reader in the mail a week or so ago, and I have an appointment to figure out how to use it with the bank on the 21st of May. So hopefully that'll be a smooth process and we can use it for the checks for the fourth quarter taxes. And yeah, that came, and you'll see the bill for that and the bills. The company's called Vecmar, VECMAR. The computer, I spoke with Larry Gold, who was giving me an overview of the industry, and there are fewer and fewer companies that assist with computer projects. Vermont Digital went out of business about a year ago. Another company got bought out by a bigger company, and they're not servicing smaller clients. So as a result, he's getting a lot of extra business, and he's busier than he's ever been in 26 years. However, he has been in business for 26 years, and he's willing to help us out. And he was looking for computers with me, and the computer that I quoted just 3 weeks ago to the select board was a similar model to what I have now, Lenovo, I think it's called. And I had seen it 4 weeks ago, advertised for $760. Now it's $1,200. This is just the hard drive, not the monitor. So Larry looked further, and there were a couple other options that are a different brand that should be suitable for the town treasurer needs. And the one we decided on, it's an MSI computer. Never heard of that before, but I did research on it. It seems like
That's what my
oh, yours is, yeah, okay.
That's what he got for me.
So that one, I believe, is about $760, so still within the range of what I proposed, but just based on what's going on in the world, as Peter called it, with the tariffs and the issues in the Middle East, that is just making prices go up high and quickly. So we locked in an order last week because I'm just afraid the longer we wait, the higher it's going to go, and don't want to spend that money. So Larry's probably going to get to setting it up with me in about 2 weeks based on his business load. So that's that. Other thing on my list, which we'll talk about maybe when we get to solid waste, is other, like Terry mentioned. Let's see, we're getting to the end of the fiscal year, so we have about 6 weeks. So besides tonight, we've got 3 more pay periods. So in preparation for that, I wanted to get some things clarified before I do the board orders for payroll for the end of the year. So if you remember, you won't, but when we did the budget for 26-27, because we don't have a select board assistant, we talked about Patty overseeing some of those responsibilities, as well as the town treasurer overseeing other responsibilities. So we earmarked $1,500 for each for next year. This year, we didn't do that specifically, but I would say Patty and I are still doing the work that we'll be doing next year, and wanted to get the opinion of the select board on if they would like to earmark some money from this year's budget for that. So I believe the budget was what, $7,500, and
I think clearly we should, and we used to, well, at one time we had an assistant salary in there, and that was our plan, and well, of course, we had an assistant for the select board.
Right.
Never used any of that, so.
yeah, we used $80, I think.
Yeah, so we should divert some of that, because, yeah, I think that was our plan, or that was our intention.
What's the line item for the 75?
I think it's clerical, I believe. Number I can.
(1-3-0200) 7,500.
And while you're discussing this, then also included in that discussion, is it a stipend or is it an hourly timesheet?
For clerical, yeah, last year was 75, and then we put 4,000, which would be 2,000 each, right?
For next year, it was 1,500 each. Is that what you were asking?
I see on clerical 4,000 for year.
Yeah, it was going to be 1,500 each, and then you were leaving a cushion of 1,000
Sure,
in case you needed to hire somebody to do something specific. I thought.
Oh, like grant writing or something.
I think our intention, correct me if I'm wrong, I think our intention was to just do a stipend. We weren't gonna.
I was gonna say, how could you do an hourly?
Well, I've been keeping track of my hours this year of just what but I don't know that Patty has, just in case, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
interruption here, interruption there.
Yeah, and then it'd be a pain if. Yeah, somebody come
I
in and
heard
say
somebody
you're.
just make a check mark or tick mark on a piece of paper every time you do something that is not.
Yeah.
But then how do you assign a number for how much time you spent, right? It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 3 hours, 911, or the
Just
whole,
keep track of it.
It helps me Betty does most of the work for the parade and things like that, which is doesn't really have anything to do with town clerk fund.
So
There's all
I,
kinds of things like that. Jenny does the same.
Mhm.
Grants and stuff.
And
with the phone ringing and people coming in, it just becomes difficult, because I can work on a project like this the whole day, because I keep getting an interrupt.
That's a stipend.
Yeah, I don't know, I would find it hard to keep track of hours or time, specific time. And each duty, whatever the duty might be.
I mean, it seems to me that a stipend is the simplest way.
And probably in the end, it would be, whatever the amount you decide, is probably less expensive than hourly. Like if we really did add up all of our hours, it would go way over.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably would.
I'll make the motion that we use a stipend for each the town clerk and the treasurer out of this current budget of $1,500 each.
So
The current budget ending in 2026?
Ending in June,
June, yeah.
of the $7,500 line item that we've expended
Oh, yeah.
$80 out of. That will expend 3,000 of that.
Jim,
How much, sorry, how much have we spent out of that? I didn't miss that part.
$80
Okay, yeah,
out of the 7,500.
okay.
Do you have, for what you've been tracking, do you have a number for what you've done this fiscal year so
I
far?
haven't totaled it yet. It's on my other computer, but I could. Is that pertinent to this conversation?
I mean, Carlos proposed $1,500.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how that relates to reality.
Yeah, I can let you know last time. I'm happy to just to be fair and recognize the extra work that we both do. But yeah, I have it's on my computer, but I haven't looked at it today.
I'll second.
So the motion has been made and seconded to allocate a stipend of $1,500 each to the town clerk and town treasurer for extra duties. Any further discussion?
With our gratitude.
Yes, thank you. With our gratitude. Absolutely. We'll all send the checks.
And then the only other stipend.
Then they won't go through.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're not done yet. You're not done yet.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The only other stipend, which was a bit of a conversation last year, was the animal control officer. I think that's
Was it 175?
275, 250.
275.
And just want to confirm that you want to honor that or not.
I think so, unless sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
That's James, right?
James Reed, yeah.
Has he gotten any calls?
I do not know.
Well,
know
I
there's
was
been
in the office
a couple of animal bites. I know.
Friday or Saturday, I forget what day. And a woman from Wallingford was on her way somewhere and she saw a white fluffy dog running around and she went to, got out of her car and the dog jumped right into her car. So like he came in here, she was frantic, like, what do I do? What do I do? So she called James Reed and he helped her work through it. So that's at least one.
And he has been involved. I don't know if we had any this year or not, but he's been involved with the little beaver plugging the culverts and things like that. And I know that was last year. I don't know if we had anything this year, but so I think we pay it.
And as it's a stipend, not an hourly.
Right.
Seems like we should pay it.
Right, yeah, I don't think there's like he's ever been given any parameters, has he, or?
Well, other than the specs for
75.
handling a dog bite, quarantine and all that, that's probably the only actual rules and regulations.
Right, I mean, the dog bite goes to the health officer and then. I don't
Hopefully it's
know if,
Hopefully it's quarantined in
I don't know how
residence.
it progresses from there, right? Most of the dog bites we've had this year were the dog
Owners.
that bit their own owner.
Right.
But there was one that got bit that they thought was here, but it was only, I'm like, oh no. They didn't know whether the dog had. That's not. Thank God.
Thank
Oh my
goodness.
God.
East Road and pulled me and I'm like, oh no, we have an East Street, not an East Road.
Has something to do with 911 addressing.
Yeah, it did. I was like, oh my God.
So that's good to go for that, okay? Thank you.
Mm.
And the final thing is, so we've got 3 more pay periods till the end of the year. And, I was specifically, looking at highway overall, to just try to make sure that we have enough money for the next 3 pay periods. And it looks like there's probably gonna be about $72,000 left. So that includes what's already in these board orders, so 72,000 in addition to that, after we pull out all the reserve money and everything. So I'm thinking that that should work unless you guys have any big expenses. Or just to let you know as you're thinking ahead.
Yeah, because any numbers that you see that she sent out for your monthly report here, it doesn't include the 20,000 for the salt shed,
Right.
40,000 for paving,
Right.
and
Yeah, we had about,
because there's 80,000 of reserve funds
right, so I'm,
still to come
so
out.
I'm projecting adding that back in.
Yeah.
So even with that accounted for the reserve funds, we still have 74.
Because I just calculated, wrote them all out based on your report from the other night.
Yeah, yeah. And
Comes
then I
out
just
to
did it based on
80,000
knowing
before
those, yeah.
before the orders there, so.
Are we in a position, we tried to in the last couple of years, and it might not matter if it goes into surplus anyway, where we can get it. Because it's gotta go to highway, but are we in any position where we can stockpile a bunch of materials between now and June 30th to have?
Well, we don't
No,
want
sure.
your sand and salt.
Well,
Sure pack,
the whole thing,
finished
the
gravel,
whole thing is getting some of the material down before the end.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're really concentrating on that, yes.
And one part of that is,
Process gravel.
well, the employment.
Right,
Yeah,
Right.
the
Exactly.
second,
But we can use contractors to do that if we have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they can spread it as.
and there has
laying.
been no thing spent against rental equipment, so we have $5,000 in that contract line item that if we wanted to use for highway, for trucking, in addition to the town truck.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Just spitballing here, Carl, does it make sense to use some of that then to start stockpiling the material we need for the proposed Garin Hill, the Garin Road project for next year?
Well, I talked to the landowner on Saturday for the beginning of Garin Road project, to raising the road to level it up to South Street. And he's very much in favor of that. And I can go down and meet with him and do a proposal with him that that's something that could be done to start that project in this budget year, so.
Mm.
And that, a portion of that would be all bank run gravel and local work and.
And or do we wanna take any of that and try to do Pleasant View Road while they're working on the
Well,
library and pave it or?
couple things come into play there. Cause the parking lot at the library is town property, is abutting that town road, which is paved now. So unfortunately, our grant request didn't happen for paving, so the paving company wouldn't be in town to make that. The biggest cost is moving the equipment nowadays. It's not a lot of tonnage.
Right.
You're talking thousands of dollars moving all that equipment in for a project.
Did you just say, Carl, that we know for certain our what was the $200,000 paving?
The $200,000 paving grant did not get awarded.
Okay.
We did not receive it.
Well,
Gotcha.
what about if they're doing the circle in front of the church?
Well,
or in front of the library?
I don't know how can get a reasonable price. Once the equipment's here, it should be all by the tonnage.
Right.
So,
I think you're gonna have a paver.
a different contractor may be in town doing some paving. So, and when Tommy Fuller and I looked at West Street, we drove in Cemetery Road and to see, he didn't get a separate price on what he would do that. That's why it was kind of, but if they have to change the grade of it, that doesn't, that's a whole different ballgame than just paving the existing road or grinding it up and repaving it. So, unfortunately.
It sounds like we should probably leave the library road to them and their proposed, it's all within their grant, right? We don't necessarily need to go messing with that.
The parking lot is all they're dealing with. The road is still gonna be the same disaster it is the problem.
From there back to the cemetery.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think I have all the answers yet, put it that way. I need to go down there and look to see if our travel portion of the road will have to be dug up and raised in their project. That's what I can't envision sitting here.
Yeah, and that road, 3 or 4 years ago, the pavement wasn't in terrible shape other than where the culvert goes under. And there was always potholes right there. So we had the highway crews spread the ground up asphalt right over the top of it. And it's held up pretty well, still in good shape. I think those potholes are finally coming back right there where the culvert goes under, but that might still be just as good an option, just put more grindings right over the top of it again, or sure back, or whatever. It lasts for quite a while. Unless we did get the paving grant here in another 2 or 3 years.
If paving's coming to do the work, that would be something I could look into to see what from the library project here to the other side of the road,
right,
all the way down toward the rectory or all the way to the entrance.
All the way to the end, and only another, 100 yards, 150 yards at the moment.
If we're just spreading ground up, repurposed asphalt, If it's only charging them $1,500 more to do that area, I can't believe it would be more than 2,000 more when everything's here to do the town portion.
That would probably be the best cost effective way.
Because we're not gonna be bringing a paving company in to do that.
All right.
So that would be something I could talk to paving.
Sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Without being too costly, but.
That's all I had.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Thank you. I was just thinking, so talking about roads.
Yeah, we're. How did we make that leap?
Talking about spending money, so.
You're just telling us how much we got left to spend.
And we don't lose it if we don't spend it.
Right.
It's supposed to surplus.
Yeah, we got plenty of other things to spend it on.
Yeah.
Trustees of public monies, any hot things from the meeting, most recent meeting? Okay, hearing none.
We're in anticipation of the town getting their 6,000 sooner than later, if the stock market doesn't crash.
Don't
Planning
jinx it.
commission. Yeah, no. Anything else on town lands? We've discussed West Street, Stand on Salt.
Anything from Michael on when he can meet with us up here?
I have not, I don't know if he's back, if he is, I haven't reached out to him, but.
It's just today, I think.
So I'll start harassing him this weekend.
Just let me know when we can go up and look at that.
Yeah.
I guess Eileen's questions earlier on proposals and that, looking at the big picture of the neighborhood up there, I think we'd be hard pressed to get a water source in there, based on the septic system of the firehouse and the septic system of the trailer to the north. So that would be governing a 200-foot isolation area for a water source. And then to the front, you're talking about Dot Reed's property and the leach field there. So the source for water, I think would be hard to get any place. And putting a commercial septic system in on that property, I don't see that happening either. Holding tank, that would be a possibility if it's here, so we know municipalities can do it. There is some interest from the employees to look at making that structure longer than a salt and sand storage structure. To park a vehicle into or whatever. So I guess when Michael comes to look at it, we could see if that would be anything close to an option, but we met there, we looked at it, and I do believe we're discussing a 40 by 100 structure. Making it any longer, I can go either way on it. But I don't, long and short of it, it needs to still be a cold storage structure.
Right.
Or it's gonna open up, if we think we're going to weasel a truck bay or a town garage in the end of this building, just on square footage, we're going to have another whole ball of wax that we can't handle. You know, from what I know of the properties. Because I do know that the right of way, the land lease for the fire department is 25 foot to the north. That limits our usability of that property. You've set a cone out there 25 feet north of that. You'd be hard pressed to move a lot of big equipment around there between our structure and there. Once you take down them two old structures, the salt and shed and that, it's gonna open that area up for maneuverability. But if you brought the new structure all the way out there again, it could make things extremely tight getting to the transfer station.
Right.
Unless we went back and were able to open up the circular drive access to the transfer station around the church's property, the fire department's lease, to the town property, which went by the wayside years ago, you know. So these are, but back to the structure, I think we've talked on that 40 by 100 and see if that works for Michael.
Um, just having a thought about, we have a reserve, transfer station reserve fund. Thinking of it. I have no idea if it is a stupid idea or not, but extending the building, but putting the transfer station in the end would be under shelter, with parallel dumpsters backing in. So, I mean, you know, open wall probably. But, just thinking of, you know, building a building and extending it. And I don't know whether it makes sense to consider tying in utilizing those funds to make a larger building. Although
The transfer reserve is 59,519 as of this sheet here, which I do believe is probably the June 30th number from last year. And so there'll be more funds added to that
I think it was like 10,000 or something.
in this reserve fund. But what we have to watch out for, even if it's that type of structure, is not exceeding the square footage. And
10,000.
in any sort of enclosed transfer stations that could trigger a fire issue, which could trigger the sprinkler system, which I heard in one proposal, they were talking because of square footage to the firehouse and that in the past, or it might have been that new structure that they had proposed. It may have been close to 300,000 for a sprinkler system for the structure alone.
well, and also the transfer station, I think it's still a conditional permit. So
yeah,
we probably couldn't build a new structure for it
Without permit.
without.
We'd want to make sure we could get a permit afterwards.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not,
Okay.
so it's not a bad
Scratch
idea.
that idea.
I mean, as Sherry said, I think it was Sherry, that we gotta be the only town in Vermont, a historical town to boot with a transfer station literally in the center of town.
Really fast.
Okay, yeah.
Well, on the agenda, that does bring us to solid waste.
No, well, we skipped highway unless Carl's all done already.
Oh,
But we.
you're right.
All
My
the
bad.
guys.
Sorry.
I spoke too much on many other things. As I said, that we got the notification that we did not receive that grant for paving. The letter was sent for the other intent for the grant money. What is it?
Better Back Road.
So that was sent and received for that grant proposal, the letter of intent. So, and they have a meeting pertaining to that I don't know if everybody got that, on Dorset on the 20th, I do believe was the date.
Yeah.
They're having a meeting of municipal officials, the select board, the town clerk, road administrators and all that are all welcome to be there. in Dorset. I don't know
What
what
did I send you?
No,
I don't know where the Dorset town office is, but
Right before JKM goes up to the left. You drive up a dirt road and into a really, really beautifully paved parking lot.
I think it was yesterday. They had a little incident of finding, I guess, an abandoned phone cable up on Daisy Hollow. The markings were in the road of no. I didn't see it, but the road was marked. No, I guess it turned out to be no power, CVPS, and no Comcast. But Dig Safe, there is two companies that has to mark the road. They're not all one company through Dig Safe. The company that does phone lines is different than that. So that was only marked by one company and not both companies, because I guess she had let us know that she couldn't get there. She lives in Wells. So she went and marked them today, but the phone line is basically laid with the road fabric in the road, is where he found it. But that could have been what Chuck was telling me this morning. They assume that's the one that was dug in 40 years ago. That wasn't buried too deep, that we had all the problems with. So
that was a copper line?
well, no, we were the first town to have fiber optic buried in the state.
Yeah.
but that wasn't 40 years ago.
But no, the first time it did, when the outfit out of Governor, New York did it. And they just plowed through culverts, plowed wherever they wanted to and left it. And we went round and round back then, and we had an agreement with VTEL and that they'd come and splice it and go around every culvert only when we replace the culverts. But then it has been since a different contractor has upgraded the service, buried service here in town. So we have the old lines and we have new lines that we have to work around.
But are the old lines abandoned? Are they?
Yes, it's my understanding they're not in service.
Anybody lose service
No,
at Daisy Hollow?
I don't think they broke it. I think they just found it.
Oh.
So that was yesterday's. So when I talked to Chuck today, I showed him where on the wall it says to get the number to call repair at VTEL. Because he said, who do you call if a phone line gets broke? I said, it used to be here on the wall, and there's one card there that just says VTEL repair and the phone number to call direct. Because he asked the lady when she marked it this morning, and she couldn't tell him who to call for a problem. So,
Somebody who cares. Nobody.
the word I got is the lady's doing such a remarkable job, they don't feel that they need to give her any help. So she cannot meet the 72-hour requirement for DigSafe for all the work that she's having to do. I think in 2 counties she's covered. But Chuck has her cell phone number, so he called her direct to say why wasn't that marked, and she said, oh, I sent you an email saying I had to postpone.
Yeah, if they don't meet the 72 hours.
Send
that's
him
on
an
them.
Yeah. He said, our phone at the garage doesn't get emails. So, I did go to Harbor Freight and get the compactor, and they used it the other day on Spruce Knob. So we do have one of those in service now.
How did the payment for that get resolved?
It's on the credit card. So. and-
Tax free?
Yeah, they have us tax-free we don't have an account with her, but they have our tax-free information on file, which made no sense. So, I think,
So that Harbor Freight credit card is rectified?
no,
Oh, it's a different credit card.
we denied that, but we have registered our tax exempt, because I took the form with me, and they said you're already in the system. So,
Well, yeah, because when he did all that, he did a S3
so
or $80 boy.
it may go back to needing the difference between credit cards and a commercial account. And that may be where it's at. So that was. If the weather straightens out, I have told them, that we need to clean up the avenue and at least the bottom of Coy Hill before the parade Saturday, next Sunday, to get rid of the potholes down through there, to get that done. Hopefully that can happen with the weather. He asked me about hiring Phillips' crew with a power broom to clean up the stone in the ditch from the historical society down to the corner, and the stone that's still on West Street to the crest of the hills for the intersection. And I told Chuck, yes, have it done as soon as possible. So, that will, planning on being cleaned up before the parade Sunday, a week from Sunday. On a different note, I think on Saturday, they're putting the pole up, the flagpole up. I think that's what I heard when I suggested we put it up the other day when we were there, but.
He said before the parade.
So I gotta believe they need the fire truck too. Because when I pace off, that it's probably a 40-foot pole. So I would think it would have to go up the 20-foot and then the other 20-foot into it. So I don't think they'd be able to raise the whole 40-foot by hand. I'm not sure.
If they do, we don't want to be around the box.
I got the last 3 of the cement blocks around the circle stood back up the other day, but as far as harmonies come tighter together, that's not going to happen this year. Back in the spring when I started the project, it was soft enough dirt, I probably could have gained some of it. So there is, between 2 blocks there's a good 6 inches.
Just be a couple 6-inch blocks.
Well, some of them have cement attached to them.
Perfect.
So they must have had some sort of plate in there at one time. 2 of the last 3 I did had chunks of cement on the bottom that made it, when I pulled them back up, it made them sit higher. But they're in a lot better shape than they were when they kept over backwards.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, thank you.
Carl, over at the lot over there where they brought over some marble pieces from here, we're gonna need like a 16 by 16 piece of marble if there's some kind of one over here to use for a planter to sit on so that they can mow around it. So if you see something over there, I was gonna ask the highway guys, but I'm gonna ask you so you can tell them.
At least 16 by 16.
I think, cause I think the planter is 12 by 12, she told me.
There's nice
I've been
square,
seeing
I can,
the-
I can get you a square block, there's nice square blocks of marble down at West Street. All kinds of different sizes, if that's what you need.
Yeah, just, I mean, it's just like they'll have it dig into the ground a little bit, so that when you mow, you don't have to weed whack, you just mow right around. Make a nice mow. That's what I'm looking for. Anybody,
Yeah, there's.
whoever wants to do it, that's fine.
Yeah, I think there's some
There's some up here still.
from when they dug the foundation.
That's what, yeah, because they brought them over there, so we would be able
Dumped
to
up
use
there.
it. And I don't know whether there's anything that's, whatever. It's got a 12 by 12 plan, but I'm pretty sure that, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the basis.
Anything else on highways?
Another discussion he had, Patty had posted the road closure the other day for putting that culvert in on the end of Spruce Knob. There was some feedback from some residents that they weren't aware of it. So there is a road closure high water sign in the garage that we saw today. And there is a wet board to ride on. So what he's thinking about is anytime that in the future that we put some sort of at least a 3-day notice up on the road and what time it's going to be closed if they're closing the whole road. So those traveling it would be able to see it.
Yeah.
Whether they didn't get electronically notified, they would have been able to see it in advance. So hopefully we can take care of getting more information to the people.
And that's on the road, not.
Right,
Yeah, right on the road.
where the work's gonna be performed and the road will be closed, that way they give them an idea on. Like,
Do we need 2 of those signs then, Carl? You'd need to put them on both sides?
well, it depends upon the location,
Mm.
Like any of these back roads, if they go out in the morning, they're coming back in the afternoon. So they get notification of it.
Mhm.
Right, but if they live at
Right, but like, you're right,
this woman's house and they don't know it, and they come all the way down and they gotta turn around and go all the way back.
Yeah, I would think maybe we should have a second one that you put it out on
Anyway,
both sides.
But I will say from past experience, you can't,
No.
they won't see that either.
Well,
There will be some that won't see that either.
You're gonna get this one.
What's
You do
gonna
what you
happen,
can do.
yeah, what's gonna happen is they're gonna read it like 2-3 days, and then they're gonna come down that morning in a hurry and go, oh yeah, it's today.
Right. It's not as much that when they get out in the morning, it's when they come home in the afternoon and realize that, when they drive up to it. So he originally had said something, can we get something like the sign that's on the lawn here?
You have one, I believe, in the
Well,
garage,
I thought there was,
but it might be at the transfer station.
that's what I thought. I said, I thought there was a second one, that it may be over the transfer station. But then we found the road closed sign for high water, and I said, well, we could put that up on a signpost and put road closed at a date and time on the bottom of it, fasten it to it, so. Hopefully we can, for the next one, we can.
To save them some aggravation.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else for?
I think we're good for a while.
Right.
I had something for highway. I spoke to Dave Fox last week, and the radar wagon is still under repair, but we're first in line. Kevin Gino will be bringing it. He's in charge of that department. So it's up to our discretion where to put it first. I spoke to David, and we can have it for X amount of time. So we can put it in different locations around Middletown.
What is that X amount of time? Do you be kind of open-ended?
I really don't know. I would have to talk to Kevin Gino about that.
See whether it's available is when it gets.
Yeah.
Whether it's a week or whether it's 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Does that have to be a hook to something?
No.
Well,
so
Or if it's the same one, it used to be a little trailer.
what they usually do is just run a chain through the rim. But it has to be X amount of feet off the road. We don't need a permit for it.
I was just wondering if it needed to be someplace that it
We'll figure out where to put it.
fastened to something or whether they just had a safety hitch that goes into it, so it can't be hooked onto and towed away. You don't wanna end up buying it when somebody steals it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay. Nano solid waste.
Okay,
And Hubbard.
you probably all saw Patty's note. I think it was like $1,115 we collected, which is basically 100 vehicles or so, $10 a whack.
Some of them multiple.
So that's pretty good. I'd like to thank everybody for working, obviously, and we're probably, I suspect, the only town in the state, maybe the only town in the country where the town fathers and town mothers actually work the dump once or twice a year. But anyway, it's pretty amazing.
And Herb couldn't resist the work either.
And it went pretty well. Overall, I think, yes, and Herb come back, a former select board member comes back and works. We don't have the numbers, obviously, for the trash. The metal was both loads, it was amazing. 2 loads of metal, one was 48.60 and one was 47.60, so 4, not quite 4.5
So did we
tons.
get funds from that or not?
We do not, no,
Okay.
but at least we don't pay $200 per container.
To get rid of it.
So we saved $200, and if Clarence can make a few dollars, good for him. And other than that, solid waste, Amanda's off Saturday. I'm working half a day. Herb's working the other half. She's going lawn sailing, Granville Townwide Lawn Sales. I think that's only her second day off since she's been working here. I don't have anything else, I don't think, other solid waste other than that. If we want to talk about Hubbard's, which I've never seen such a thing. Did everybody see that? No, nobody has seen that. Hubbard sent a reply to Patty or to us
Well, to me, I didn't have anything to do with it except to open the envelope.
based on the little love letter we sent them. So, to whom it may concern, hello, in regards to your bill and the outstanding invoices on your account was set up to, quote, pay on balance, end quote, instead of pay by invoice. So checks were applied to whatever bill was open. I'm in the process of switching over numerous accounts to pay by invoice in an attempt to simplify things going forward, and I can do that for your account too, if you'd like. When I make that change, our system goes through your account and pulls all of the open and partially paid invoices and finance charges that are unpaid and lumps them into one big invoice. So future payments would go to specific invoices, and anything more would chip away at the existing balance. Isolating unpaid invoices is difficult with your account set up as pay by balance, because partial payments have been made over the years, breaking the invoices up into split amounts. Let me know if you would like me to switch your account setup. And that's thanks, Melissa, Hubbard Brothers, Inc. And I'm no accountant. I'm fairly good at math, or I used to be, but I've never heard of such a freaking thing in my life.
And I don't know how long we've been doing business with them, but we have always paid.
I was just gonna say that same thing with Carl. I was on once back in the mid-80s, early 90s. Carl and I have been on and off over the last 20 or 30 years. We've always paid this way. There's never been of course, we've never seen any statements. We've never been aware of any balance issue until last September, October, whatever. So I don't know.
What's the amount that they say that we are delinquent?
Well, it
there's a new-
changes,
yeah.
but
there's a couple bills in there, and I took the liberty, and on one of the bills, not in there.
almost there. It has been 5 to 6 to 7.
Now it's 8 or something. So
It fluctuates up and down.
So again, so I didn't know anything about this. So I see this invoice and it says, please settle your account, you're very past due and your total is 8,000, blah, blah, blah. And attached to that, I have enclosed a statement. Whoever this person is must be. So there's a statement enclosed, it doesn't tell us anything. So I took the liberty of sending a letter to what's his name, Theodore Hubbard, whoever's running the show.
Yeah.
And I said, and the copy is in here, I didn't know if I was gonna be here tonight, but I said, see the attached letter we sent with the last payment. We don't need a statement, we need invoices that are still outstanding, please. When we receive those invoices, we will remit payment. Writing notes on your invoice does not help us figure out what is due. Thanks in advance for your cooperation. So I sent that out on May 11th to whatever Theodore or whatever his name is. Whoever this Melissa is, I don't know who she is. If she's a wife or a bookkeeper, but doesn't seem to want to do her job and track what it is, but it would be, I can't think of the word, but not a good thing on our part to just pay $8,000
No, absolutely
without
not. Yeah.
knowing what it's for. I'm sorry they have that system. And because we weren't signed up the right way, I don't even remember signing up. It was before my time,
But
probably.
if we have,
I've
if we
never heard
pay
of
each
such a-
invoice as it comes in,
Why can't
how,
we check it
how
out?
There
is
shouldn't
there?
be any outstanding balance,
Right.
exactly. We get billed twice a month. We pay off the
Everything.
invoice.
So,
So even if there's a little bit of a timing issue, but there shouldn't be any.
yeah, so we're clearly missing invoices. How do we know what they are? And as I said last time, they are not that good with their bookkeeping on their end and the information that they send to us.
No, they're clearly not.
So
I think, I don't know, I don't know.
let's see if we hear back from Theodore or whatever. What's that dated?
Patty received it May 12th, 0507,
Okay, and I sent something on the 11th.
and we
to-
received
what's his
it
name?
the 12th. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think
Is
maybe I think
Theodore's-
the worst, but I think somebody maybe.
Because
can-
Theodore
or
was
something.
Teddy and he's dead.
There's somebody that's a
So-
junior.
Is there,
Junior,
is there
yeah.
a son?
And he's like about 65 years old, so
Ted-
he's,
Ted, our father.
yeah, I Googled him, that's how I found it.
I know Teddy's involved.
Well, there are clearly late fees.
There's a bunch of late fees. but-
Because of our timing, we are always late on our payments.
So-
Because they give us anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to pay, and it seems to vary also.
Cause they're going by the end of the month, or whatever. If they're doing-
The due dates tend to arrive the day before we're having meetings
Right.
and assigning payments. But they also vary, they're not, like, every invoice does not have 2 weeks. Sometimes they group 2 invoices from 2 different times into 1 2-week period. So one of them's clearly short.
I think we should offer them a compromise. They wipe the slate clean, bill us by the invoice and we'll pay them.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So.
This
In
is,
my opinion, I don't think we've done anything wrong.
oh, I don't think so, and we've never been aware of anything in the past. Various
Like
times.
Patty
we've been on the
has said in
board.
the past, it may go back to the compactor and having work done that we never got an invoice for. That, and that would be the other thing. How do we know we didn't receive an invoice?
We didn't receive it.
You know, if you don't receive it, it's not gonna get paid. And that's the other part of this whole thing. We're not responsible for that invoice getting lost. If it didn't get paid, they needed to notify us.
Exactly.
And then send it in.
And I believe that your checks will say what invoice you're paying on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have the reference number on there.
Yeah, so I mean,
Like
it's
I will-
not as if you're you're paying on balance, you're not, you're paying specific invoices.
And along those lines, whatever happened to back in the day when each town, and we purchased our own roll-off with the little bins for each different thing. We actually owned, as every town did. Whatever
That-
happened to those?
That was between us, that was a grant and a purchase. And that contract allowed that unit to go back to Casellas. When Casella took over the recycling center, that became property of Casellas once we stopped using it. And I didn't agree with that, but that was all because of the controversy between SWAC and the solid waste district. And all those that were purchased by the town and half paid for with a grant, Casella ended up with all them roll-offs. They end up with our roll-off. And I questioned it at the time, where is it? It got taken to the recycling center and it stayed there. Because we were a SWAC town.
This Melissa is new within the last year or so. Every year when I call to order containers for big dump day, I recognize the woman's voice. And this is somebody new, and the woman that I used to order, because we always had, we've had issues sometimes with messages not getting passed on and whatnot, so I'd always order them and I'd say, I'll call again and remind you, and she'd say, yep, good idea, and laugh, and whatnot. Well, this is a different person. That's all I know. It's a different person within the last year.
The last time I took anything in, I didn't recognize anybody. What's that? I'd seen previously.
So how long have you been doing business with Howard?
That's, I want to say since SWAC started,
Yeah.
So,
when we left Casellas and that.
so is that?
Because we went through a competitive bid, I do believe. Well, it's gotta be pushing 20+ years.
Say 20, 25, quite a while.
I remember when, we had the option of the Rutland Solid Waste District or SWAC.
Right.
Opted to go with SWAC.
So I've been doing it for 14, paying by invoice, and that's what Marilyn taught me to do, so. She was, 30 years, but So we've been doing it all their history, so.
Yeah, and nothing,
Somebody just doesn't want to do their job.
well, it was never an issue. That's
I
what
don't
gets
understand a
me.
company that wouldn't send a past due notice when you don't have an invoice paid.
Yeah.
After 30 days, you send it a past due invoice. Balance due.
Right, and that's a service charge or a
Yeah, but
late fee or interest fee.
we don't pay those.
But,
So that's.
right, that's a whole other thing, but how can it be a problem now? It never has been for the last 10 years,
And there's
12 years, 14
agreement to
years.
pay balance due. I don't understand, is that something you would have signed off on
Yeah, right, if it was 20 years ago, you guys,
with the select board?
we don't have any documentation for that.
Oh, yeah, that like that.
No, whoever, someone changed bookkeepers, they decided it was easier to just pay on the balance and not try to pick the invoices out. And then, once you do that for so long, you can't figure out where the hell you are.
Right.
Can't track
So
it,
they
unless you
don't-
got a good system with it.
And there's a reason maybe that they're not able to track it.
Right.
And that's why I sent the letter to.
Good night.
Good
night.
Good night, thank you.
Good night, Meredith.
So,
We're
I
gonna.
want to just wait to hear if he responds back to me. I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're gonna be, at some point, we're gonna try to set up a meeting with Gary, with our town attorney, Gary Tupfer. Maybe we can show him what to do and see if he has an opinion. And I
Okay.
will say again, we did say one other time, a few years ago, you were probably on the board then, when we had the container repaired. It was in the winter time, and then we never got We never got an invoice, which we didn't know, but anyway, somebody came in a year later and found it on their desk. That it had never, that was like 2,500 or 3,200
Probably that
or
was for the
something.
variable frequency drive on it.
Yes, that we went round and round, took a long time to get it fixed. So their accounting
Yeah, so
is,
like I've been saying, it's not,
they apologized all over the place. Oh, I just found it on my desk. It had been here since March of the
Mhm.
previous year.
like last go around, they sent us 2 invoices that were exactly the same.
Yeah.
So
I've seen
did
that.
they misplace one and,
Same number or the same?
yep, same, document, same
Yeah.
numbers, reference numbers and amounts.
Yeah, same
Dates,
tonnage.
yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted 2 checks, did they? Or
Yeah.
trying to pick away at that 8,000.
Yeah, right.
The fuel statement that we had from back in December that had Wallingford slip that was crossed out for Middletown. Wallingford called me last week because they're going back looking at fuel deliveries and they end up with Middletown slip for their delivery. So they're questioning the quantities. Did the slip go to the wrong company, wrong town and all that? And I told her, no, we'd gone through it with them at the time. They're just going through them with it now because they've gone having issues trying to figure out their deliveries.
So somebody just put the wrong town on it.
They used the wrong slip in the wrong town at the delivery, and they just crossed out Wallingford and wrote Middletown on it. So I called them, I questioned it and all that, and they assured me, no, that was our delivery and all that. Well, now
I told again too.
Wallingford just figured out that they got our slip and was crossed out and said Wallingford on it from the 1st of December delivery. The other part of it was they had another delivery sometime 5 days later, 6 days later, that was the same exact amount of gallons. So that's what they were questioning, whether that first slip was theirs or whether that should have been ours. I said, well, we had your slip. We got 137 gallons delivered. You guys got more delivered to your place than our tank holds.
Okay, we are on to correspondence.
Correspondence. One correspondence is that letter that I just read from Hubbardsville. Another one here, let's see, to Selectboard, delinquent taxpayers. Please read in the minutes, as of June 30th, 2026, any delinquent taxpayer eligible for tax sale will be notified. To avoid, email or call me to set up an installment plan ASAP. You have 45 days to do so. Any questions, please call me. Thank you, DTC Heather Greer, 5/14/26. And I'll need copies of that for anybody if they want.
I'm gonna put that in the minutes, is that what you're saying?
That's what she asked for, so I'm gonna make a copies and I'll rewrite all that.
That the approval to proceed with the tax sale on delinquency as of July 1.
We had an overweight permit from McIlwain Contracting. Looks like their liability certificate in there.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help. Letter from Maggie O'Brien. Good morning, Robin. Complete signature and designated officials payments for the Rutland Region Public Works Mutual Aid Agreement.
Yes, so that is,
Oh, we actually got cash in there, right like that. Designated officials, I don't know what, I don't know what the officials are, Mutual aid agreement, this is the local, in reference to the local emergency management plan, so we've got a generator, grader, trailer, truck. Wheel loader backhoe.
So generator at the firehouse, right? Is there a transfer switch on this building?
There is a transfer switch.
Yeah.
No generator.
Right.
And
Propaganda.
the generator at the firehouse is hardwired to the firehouse. Except for 2,000 watt small ones. The old portable generator that was around. That's not an overweight request, is it?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes.
We used to use the rubber turkey
Steve
sheets. I
Newton.
don't know if it exists anymore.
For $5 cash.
I know it's not there.
Because we need something for him.
So, let's say we should.
Just need to know how big. So I will move to approve these two overweight permit applications.
Okay, I'll second.
Who are they for, again?
Steve Newton and Matt Coyne Construction.
McElwain contract.
Is that Steve? Yeah.
Robin, here's a copy of Heather's. Does anybody want to know? Copy of Heather's note?
With,
I need one.
so, all in favor of this?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
We'll do this in the correspondence too. This is the parade permit, which this is the first time you've ever seen this version. I filled it out, so I wanted to get it going. This is the one I've used for years and years, and Pat already sent it in and got Dave Fox to sign it. But I had my name on there, but if you want to be a co-applicant, there's a print your name and title, and you can sign down there if you would like. Might be great. I'll leave that in the bag. She sent me that today. I had to go out. Isn't government, state government great? Federal government even better? 2016. And that permit, it's nothing to do with the parade. It says, I don't know if it says it on there or says it in the email. You are approved for your coin drop. We didn't ask for a coin drop.
It's probably the form that somebody pulled up for the use of a public highway.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's what you use for a driveway permit and whatnot. But we've never used it before. It's just comical. And it's the same people. Brian doesn't do it anymore. It's one of his underlings, but it's the same guy he dealt with for 3 or 4 years. But it's a new form. You got a lot of things. Thank you, Rob.
Or they sent me the wrong one.
So now she just gotta scan this and send it back, and you gotta laugh.
Do we want to review the town plan before we sign that? If that's gotta be done by the 1st of June?
So this is filling out who's the aiding official, alternate aiding official, requesting official, alternate requesting official. And then this is the equipment lists. And that's what we were. And this 9 pages is definitions of aiding official and aiding party and requesting official and requesting party. And the financial, where we have to have insurance and all of that typical stuff, which is, I mean, it's the boilerplate that every town is signing, but that's it.
Where's that from? Planning commission.
Yeah.
Existence.
Yes. Was that it for correspondence?
That's it.
Um, I'm going to make a motion that we authorize me to sign this on behalf of the select board. And I don't know what we do about filling in the aiding party and requesting party.
So you're working on that. This is what you're working on. This is what we have to send in by the 1st of June, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the plan. Right?
Well,
This is part of the municipal.
Also by June.
This is supposed to be once a year.
Yeah.
Okay. For mutual aid. Yeah, okay, sure.
I'll second. I'll second the motion. For Robin to sign
And so
and complete and fill it out.
I mean, what I'm anticipating is sitting down with Bill Jones. It's the same signature page, I think.
Yeah,
There's 2 different documents.
And
Public works, so what's that one? This is for emergency. And public. Emergency mutual aid. So that's part of the ones you gotta fill out, the information, the information for this.
right.
They go together.
And I'll talk with Bill Jones, but my thought being to sign it before 2 weeks have passed. Submit
Can I
it.
just get the title off that so I can write it down? And then you're welcome to it.
has that been seconded yet?
Yes, I second
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're alone other than Isaac. There's somebody else.
And on to
Board orders.
board orders.
Well, there.
These Casella bills that say winter sand and stone, that's stone for mud
Mud
spots. Yeah.
But I'm not sure why stone got rolled into the same line item as winter sand.
Yeah,
So I thought that's odd, but that's the way it's been done, so.
you want me to hold these bills up to the camera, Isaac, so you can.
That's all right. My connection's not that good.
Make sure you're still awake.
Yeah. I'm still here.
Okay. Thank you. I would just need one comment on Heather's letter that to avoid email or call me to set up an installment plan. There's no phone number or email on there, so. I mean, I guess you can look it up and it's probably on the website.
Well, I think she's just looking for permission from us that what she sends out to the,
Yeah, no, this
in
is,
her next bill will say that.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, I believe you're correct.
What they work on the grader? Which bigger means. Yeah, they had it in the shop. They did not think the cutting edge. I'll check down that. That's the stuff has to be. In that thing. They're gonna last. I'm not sure whether they. Probably one. On this highway bill, the $23.50 part that Chuck had finally returned to air gas and that we were mailed. I've been here since December that we did not order. I tried just paying it. And instead we end up having to return it. Well, we didn't get credit for it when we got returned, so we got a nasty grant from accounting out in maybe Chicago that we hadn't paid that price. So luckily, the person on the other end of the phone that I talked to remembered Chuck leaving it there when he left, because they tracked down where it was supposed to be sent to up in northern Vermont, Williston, or some place up there. The person that actually ordered it. So, so the guy was going into the system and giving us credit for the $23.50, and did not seem wanting me to call the number that they sent me to contact. And he said I could take care of it and take care of the invoice. So we finally hopefully got that $23.50 taken care of. Even though the gas and the time to take it back to Rutland to get rid of it cost us a lot more.
Costs a lot more than.
The $23.50.
Yeah, it's usually the way.
Yeah.
See the yellow one yet?
You'll see that Philip included big dump day for Saturday on what we were paying here. But because it was on this card, I paid him. It would have technically been the next week.
Right.
But he included it on that card, so I paid him on this card. So. Does your pen reach all the way here, Isaac, or?
Not quite.
Didn't know if you were sleeping.
It will on Saturday. I'll be back. Sorry, I missed Big Dump Day though. It looked like it was going to be a nice rainy one.
You missed all the excitement.
Yeah. And did anyone get any good treasures?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I forget what I got, but goodies for sure.
Goodies for
Want
sure.
to know the valuables? Check with Patty.
It was pretty steady.
Yeah, it sounds at over 100 cars.
Sure. That one goes back in the road on the ground.
So Philip was there with the backhoe, is that right?
Yes.
Nice.
Good thing we had 4 dumpsters
Mm.
and a backhoe.
Mm-hmm.
We had to smash it down.
And I mean, actually, the metal was more than I've ever seen.
Yes, it was.
Oh, they were shorter. It was a shorter.
No, it's the same container.
That's the
It's a
biggest sheet.
it's a smaller container than what Hubbard has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But normally the second one.
So there's 2 tons in each one roughly.
A little over 2 tons, a little over
Yeah.
total 9,620 pounds. So 2 3/4.
So I made a donation to it, got rid of some sand.
That's been four.
Yeah, and afterwards I took the load down, we got the refrigerator that was up here. And that was a bear lifting that sucker up into the thing, but I had a washing machine of my own that I wanted to throw away, but guess what, that's going in October, because I could.
That'll be ready then.
I still got a refrigerator in my basement. I'm still taking clock over, not getting done.
Well, I thought the refrigerators weren't bad, nowadays they're pretty light. Not the one that was up there. It was all there, and then some.
I had a metal desk it was up on the top floor of my house, and so I disassembled it.
Was that the one that showed up down there? Disassembled?
Yes,
Oh, they were heavy pieces.
they were.
Yeah.
So they charge 200 for each unit drop for Hubbard's.
For recyclables. I
Okay.
think they charge 200 for taking the recyclables to Rob.
Okay.
And that's a separate price. That's been the normal. Anything that's just says 200 on it is the one that's where they truck it there, and then we get the bill from Casellas for the load.
Yeah, $200 a truck. So Casella is the one that bills for. Zero sort of. Hubbard just trucks it. Yeah, so for big dump day, everybody can. Won't have to work for 30 a little bit.
I already did mine.
Where did you do yours? Save it for October.
I put it in, put a different invoice number on, I'll put another one in.
Go ahead and see if our auditors catch it. There's the select board catches it.
Add a note, please pay running balance, not the invoice.
That's terrific.
$8,000.
That for some reason.
And include your tax bill attached to it.
Yeah.
Trucking. So, yeah, I got this here and then that's my balance.
On the next, if you look at the whole cover sheet there somewhere where the balance started back in February of like
Of this year.
$5,000 or something. It's sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. And
Well,
I'm
it
saying
goes up
it's
each,
8,
it goes up each month.
apparently.
Well,
I
part of
know
it
it goes
is,
up and down.
part of it is the interest and part of it is the credit.
Finance charge, $87 there.
So that adds up.
Finance charge.
That's more than $1,000 a year once you start having rolling them into it.
Oh, well, then when we start adding a serious amount of money on it. So what, didn't we payment of
Yeah,
For large dumpster day, was that the pay period ending?
This,
Tomorrow?
yes, it'll be the pay period ending tomorrow. 15 tomorrow?
Yeah,
Yes, because the dumpster day was the first day of the new pay period. Yeah, I don't know, I think everybody's seen these, right? Alright, so. What are the,
I'll make the motion that we pay the orders as presented.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
And, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And before we do executive session, just I handed out everybody a code of ethics. And it's from the Vermont Ethics Commission website for municipalities. I just went through it and modified it to be, not the town manager, but the select board as responsible parties. So all I did was where you had to make a choice on what the body is, did that. And we can take a look at it and we discuss it and act next meeting.
Does it count as my ethics training?
I can give you my notes. Is there anything else before we move into executive session? I'll move to go into executive session at 10:58 to discuss personnel issues.
9:58?
9:58. Thank you.
58, I'm gonna be going.
That's personnel issues and delinquent tax issues.
I will second that.
Issues.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we moved out of executive session at 10:37. No action taken. But now,
I'll move that we hire Bill Parker to do welding for the town as a town employee.
so will be a part-time town employee
For the purpose of welding.
for purposes of welding.
maintenance?
Maintenance. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried.
I'll get the paperwork to Chuck to look into performing the annual reviews of the employees in June.
Yeah.
By June meetings.
Yeah, good idea. Did you say Billy was full busy all month of May?
Every weekend, so
Every weekend, so he's not gonna be able to get to the radio plane.
well, he said nights, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay. No, I just wondered, because
it's gonna be,
sounds like it's gotta be done relatively soon, or we're not gonna be able to get to.
well, it's usable. The
Right.
cutting edge is ample on there. There's 4 inches of cutting edge at the moment.
but it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, well, no, the cutting edge is still there. The one that's on back.
Okay, yeah.
It's just,
Cause you can break them on.
he said he doesn't want to move them anymore.
Any other business to attend to? Next regularly scheduled meeting, May 28th.
28, same time, same place. I'll move to adjourn if we're good. Whatever time you tell me.
Second
Thank
that.
you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac.
Would you stop?
Are you on vacation
stop the
again?
recording?
Yes. Do, do, do.